Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to be reading this article that says the Batman Arkham verse has defined how in-game universes should work. Now, I've been a fan of the Arkham verse ever since Batman Arkham Asylum came out on the PlayStation 3. And I thought it was supposed to be like a rhythm-based game at first, but they changed it later to how it came to be. And oh my god, I'm so loving how the first thing that we got. Batman Arkham Asylum was a blast. Then we got Batman Arkham City, which was awesome. And then we got Origins, which it wasn't as great as City for me, but it was still a very much interesting game. It was a very entertaining game. The Deathstroke battle in Arkham Origins was vastly superior to the Deathstroke battle that we got in Arkham Knight, in my opinion. And then we got was Arkham Origins, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum were all on the PlayStation 3, right? And then we got the Return to Arkham set, which only had Arkham City and Arkham Origins. I mean, Arkham City and Arkham Asylum carry out over to the PlayStation 4, which I'm sad that they didn't do the same treatment for Arkham Origins, especially since Arkham Knight references a few things from Origins. I don't know if it was like licensing still, because I don't think Origins was made by Rocksteady. I think it was made by something else. I don't know. Arkham Origins was supposed to be a prequel to Asylum. Anywho, now we got Arkham Knight, right? Was supposed to be the conclusion of the Arkham series, right? And I feel like, for me, the Arkham Knight should have been Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's son. That's just me. And if you guys want me to review each Arkham game, let me know. I will gladly do that for you guys. But in this video, we're going to talk about Batman Arkham first has defined how in-game universe should work. I already read the title, but I figured I would do it again to refresh your guys' memory. And here's my cat. Hey. Okay. Rocksteady and WB's Montreal's Arkhamverse is a seminal setting in modern gaming, and particularly in superhero titles. Players may prefer one game to another, but it is inarguable how significantly impactful the franchise has been altogether. That continually seemed to be solved after Batman Arkham Knight, but that is no longer the case. Instead, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is confirmed to be an extension of the Arkhamverse, as well as the characters and narratives it establishes. I remember hearing about a Suicide Squad game. So this Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League, is going to take place in the same universe as the 4 Arkham games that we got on the PlayStation. Well, I know the Arkham games are on the other systems, but I believe Arkham Asylum originated on the PlayStation. So hence, why you guys will hear me say PlayStation version. Anywho, I'm sorry if I dasplained. Anywho, mansplained, dasplained. So many terms nowadays, I don't know. Rocksteady's decision to continue the Arkhamverse is both a massive undertaking and an incredible opportunity. Gotham Knights, for example, bears the weight of withstanding comparisons to the Batman Arkham games, even though it's not part of the Arkhamverse canon. The Arkhamverse is simply that iconic now, and has demonstrated that an in-game universe should be managed throughout a franchise connected entries. I think, and the 4 Arkham games that we got, they did so well, doing casual puns to the other heroes, or the other DC heroes or characters to say. I remember in Arkham's Knight, they had this Queen Industries or Queen Consolidated symbol, and that's a reference to Green Arrow. And also in the same game, they made they made a point to Lex Luthor running for president. I gotta replay Arkham City and Arkham Asylum to remember the references that they made to the older characters or villains in the DC comics in itself. But I do remember catching on to some of those teases, and I thought that was fun. But fun to hear. Great. Anywho, Rocksteady decision. Alright, I read that. So, Batman's Arkham First has seminal iterations of its established characters. One of the most important features of Batman Arkham Asylum's narrative is that no characters are introduced to the players as if fans are completely unfamiliar with them. Batman Arkham Asylum trusts that its fan base is knowledgeable about Batman and his rogues gallery from either comic book or anime series source material, and its characters are already established in connection to Batman. Yeah, because Arkham Asylum is is Bruce Wayne well into his Batman career. Batman's interactions with each supervillain in Arkham Asylum was special because fans understand there is a story history shared between him and every criminal he has incinerated. Sorry. Incinerated is like burned, incarcerated is mean behind bars. Sorry. Batman Arkham Asylum's game Batman Arkham Asylum opens the players escorting the Joker into the mental institution where Killer Croc is encountered at Arkham. Security relocates him with the facility. The interaction in particular lets players know that there is a definitely anonymous brewing within the asylum and establishes the connections with the player before they inevitably encounter each antagonist later on in the game. Yeah, because we do interact with Killer Croc later in Arkham Asylum. It's not really a fight, and I don't think we really fight Killer Croc until Arkham Origins comes out, and then later on in Arkham Knight. Anywho, the interaction and this interaction in particular lets players know that there is definitely an anomaly brewing within the asylum, and I already read that. So Rocksteady's use of environmental storyline illustrates Batman's relationship with characters without having to explicitly state them. Batman and Joker's relationship is iconic, for example, as clearly as back and forth cat and mouse effort, which is why the game's opening did not need a cinematic fight to introduce them. For fans who were uninitiated with any of the Batman's Rogues Gallery, however, Batman Arkham Asylum's psychiatric tape recordings offer a creative glimpse into these characters' backstories. I remember that, and I thought that was great too, because I think Arkham Asylum came out in 2008, and I was not exactly too familiar with the Rogues Gallery's origins bit, so I thought that was really cool. Me and my brother thought that part was so cool. So I do appreciate that. Even Batman's relationship with Barbara Gordon, who is presently adopting the Oracle mantle, and Jim Gordon are explicit, but their connections and shared histories are clear. And I like to say that we don't see Barbara Gordon into Arkham Origins, but we don't see Barbara Gordon as Oracle until Arkham Knight. But we see Jim Gordon all four Arkham games. Environmental storytelling such as this also infers that Barbara Gordon has been confined to a wheelchair following a spinal injury that Joker has caused, which is shown in Arkham Knight, to be honest. Batman Arkham Asylum is therefore an incredibly competent launching point for its established Arkhamverse, but the interactions between characters is only developed strongly thereafter, as well in its sequels and prequel. Further, the Arkhamverse has an immense privilege of phenomenal acting talent, taking on Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker, respectively, which helped with making each sequel part of the connected universe as well. Arkham Origins didn't have Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill as Batman and Joker. Um, I forget who took on the roles as Batman and Joker, but it wasn't Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill in the Arkham Origins. The Arkham. So we got two topics left, I believe. Yeah. So the Arkhamverse connected canon to more important than its individual narratives. Between each installment in Rocksteady and WB Games Montreal's Arkhamverse, few titles have narratives with the same impactful weight as the gameplay. For example, Batman Arkham Asylum is almost purely atmospheric. Batman Arkham City takes place in a Gotham-funded citywide compound run by criminals, and Batman Arkham Knight is fairly predictable with a uninventive and backburn twist on the classic storyline. Batman Arkham Origins suffers from being a prequel entry with expectations of what may happen, but at least offered an intriguing origin for the Arkhamverse's Joker and arguably one of the better iterations of Bane in the Batman media. Thankfully, the Arkhamverse games' individual narratives are less significant than the continuity connected universe as a whole. Batman Arkham City establishes several characters new to the franchise, such as Hush, Mad Hatter, Ra's al Ghul, and Penguin, the latter of whom expresses his personal resentment towards Bruce Wayne. Which I don't get how Mad Hatter and Penguin, or at least Mad Hatter, does that. I guess I don't know that most about, like, out of those four, I'm the most ignorant with the history between Mad Hatter and how it connects to Bruce Wayne for Batman. These characters are new to the sequel, but also have their own histories within the Arkhamverse. And no. Yeah, because Penguin, Mad Hatter, Hush, and Ra's al Ghul weren't in Arkham City. I mean, Arkham Asylum. They were introduced in Arkham City. In the Arkham games. I'm trying to remember if Penguin was in Arkham Asylum. I'm surprised he wasn't. I don't think he was. Anyways. These characters are new to the and also, so these characters are new to the sequel, but also have their own histories within the Arkhamverse, and almost all have engaging conclusions that Batman Arkham Knight wraps up as the final entry within Batman as its protagonist. Batman Arkham City establishes a relationship with Mr. Freeze that players can empathize with, and thus having him appear with an emotionally charged DLC expansion in Batman Arkham Knight is a treat. It is ultimately more compelling seeing how different characters are represented or developed from one game or installment to the next. Especially after players share experiences with them in previous games. Now, I thought the whole Mr. Freeze story arc, from seeing him, like, if we going in chronological order in terms of timeline, seeing him from the DLC in Arkham Origins, and then seeing where he ends up in Arkham Knight, I thought Mr. Freeze essentially had one of the most saddest but most beautiful story arcs of all. So I really did like what they did with Mr. Freeze as a whole in the Arkhamverse. The Arkhamverse Riddler is a prime example of how satisfying these relationships are between the player and each supervillain. Since Andrea's trophy hunting is perpetuated throughout all the Rocksteady entries. Finally being able to incarcerate Riddler is incredibly gratifying after having located and solved all his riddles between Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight. The only thing I'll say that's somewhat negative towards the Riddler is so happened to be Arkham Knight, right? You literally have to get literally all the trophies, all the riddles, in order to get the full ending. You can't get like all the other characters and ignore Riddler to get the full ending. You need to get the Riddler as well, and I'm not like Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum. You were able to beat the Riddler mission. Like, I should rephrase this. You were able to get the full ending without having to be the Riddler mission. Like, in terms of without having to get all the riddles, all the trophies. And even then, you get to like lack the Riddler, like essentially beat the Riddler, without having to do all the riddles to find all the riddle trophies. So that's the only negative I will have to say about the Riddler. Outside of that, I think the Riddler was annoying, but I think being annoying is part of the character. If that makes sense. So yeah, Arkham Knight having to do literally find all the Riddler trophies and riddles is the only negative I have to say about Riddler, or that relates to Riddler at all in Arkhamverse. Anywho, many instances of gratifications are present for players who have enjoyed Rocksteady's trilogy or WB Games' Montreal's prequel. Therefore, the Arkhamverse continuity is made special and seemingly instrumentable in terms of its nostalgia in modern games. And it's WB Games Montreal's where they did Arkham Origins was I want them to. It would be great to have them re-release Arkham Origins on the PlayStation 4 and 5, because I think that was a pretty fun game. Even the Mr. Freeze DLC and the Bruce Wayne DLC that they got was the Bruce Wayne DLC was essentially showing us how showed Bruce Wayne getting some training, kung fu, how he became a badass before he was Batman. And there's this little mini story arc, little cinematic cutscenes between each episode, and I think there's 3, maybe 4 episodes in between, and it's so good, and I enjoy it. Highly recommend if you guys haven't played it, watch the cutscenes, because I think it's really good, or at least watch other people's gameplay of it, because they tackled it very beautifully, in my opinion. Anywho, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League stands the Arkhamverse in-game universe. Harley Quinn and Penguin are some of the most prolific characters in the Arkhamverse, besides maybe some of this Bat family characters and the Joker. And Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League continues that trend of the Arkhamverse. Harley will now be taking over the playable protagonist role. Harley's brief DLC expansion in Batman Arkham Knight allowed her to be a playable character in the Bloodhaven Police Department as she kept contact with Penguin throughout it. It would be interesting to see if this DLC is remarked upon by these characters when they interact in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Unfortunately, Harley's thematic free-flow combat and clever psychosis mode UI may not be reprised in the Suicide Squad game. They really like to say the full title of the game, which is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm just going to call it the Suicide Squad. Just know that it's referring to the game, because it seems too wordy to say Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League every single time we are mentioning that game. So Suicide Squad, there you go. However, the Suicide Squad game does not need and mentally push its Arkham connections on players in order to elicit nostalgia and will hopefully stand apart in its own unique way as it boasts a completely different gameplay experience. The Arkham could have ended with Batman Arkham Knight's protocol Nightfall Protocol conclusion, and it may be difficult for the Suicide Squad game to answer fans' burning questions about what it takes place within the Arkhamverse. Well, when it takes place in the Arkhamverse. Either way, it will be exciting to see which narrative, either its narrative tellers, are still being honored, and which characters may appear with their own established histories and to extend the Arkhamverse in-game canon into Metropolis. And then Suicide Kill the Justice League is expected to be released early 2023 for PC, PS5, Xbox Series XS. So I think that I think out of all the characters from the Arkhamverse, I feel like, or of the heroes, they could have like Nightwing carry on his own game, because out of all the sidekicks, he seems to be the fans' favorite the most. So I think he can carry on the mantle, especially since in some iterations he was Batman. Another person that would be cool to carry on the Arkhamverse is Green Arrow. It could be like the Green Arrow, you have failed Arkham, or Arkham has failed you, or whatever. As a little pun to the Arrow show, how Oliver Queen would say, "You have failed this city." I don't know. But this Suicide Squad game sounds pretty interesting. If it's supposed to be connected to the Arkham games, that'd be interesting. And I do hope this establishes like where in the Arkham it takes place. So like, how long? Like, it took like what, 8 months between the events of Arkham City and Arkham Knight. So it could be in between there, and could still use have Bruce Wayne be in it, or will it be like, will it be after the events of Arkham Knight? Because if it's after the events of the Arkham Knight, then they will have. I feel like they will have to. Even if it's like for a hot second, say, well, like mention Batman not being around, like at least Bruce Wayne not being around, saying something like, "Hey, it's not like we're gonna have a bat coming and stopping us or anything," and then keep going, establishing that yes, this is in the Arkhamverse. This is set after Arkham Knight. Sure, it might not be like, might not tell us how long after Arkham Knight this game is set, but it still be. My point is, if it's set after Arkham Knight, it would be cool to have like at least a quick line, making a reference of at least the events of Arkham Knight. Something along those terms. I don't know, but after man. When it comes to in-game universes, the the 4 Batman Arkham games has set the bar high, and I'm actually like, I've been like recently replaying Batman Arkham Knight. I'm wanting to try to get the full ending on my own. I've seen the full ending of Arkham Knight. I just want to try to get it on my own, which means I have to go through literally all the Riddler trophies and Riddler's riddles, but because I never really 100% that game, so that'd be interesting to tackle. But yeah, I'm interested in how Suicide Kill the Justice League will how it will continue the Arkham first legacy. And will this jump forward any other characters, like a Nightwing game, or a Green Arrow game, or a Jason Todd game in the Arkham first? I'm really, really interested. Anywho, what do you guys think about this article? Let me know in the comment section down below. And what is your guys' favorite Arkham game? Let me know in the comment section down below. That said, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I'll talk to you guys later. Later, taters.